Welcome back to the WakeMan channel. Okay, so today's video is going to be the 26th episode of the Wakeboat ownership series, and in this video I'm going to cover my build sheet for my 2022 Nautique G23 and talk about how I ordered the boat, the options I ordered, what I feel like was worth it, what I feel like was not worth it, and basically cover each option in detail. I made a video similar to this about a month ago where I did the same thing for my 2018 24 MXZ build. I'll put a link to that video right above me here, and I thought it turned out to be a pretty good video for those people considering a boat build or just simply looking for more information on each option and whether or not each option was worth it. Now this one will be a little bit different because I've only had a little bit of time with my 2022 Nautique G23, whereas in my 24 MXZ build options video, I had the experience of 3 seasons and 350 hours on that boat. So this one will be a little more of describing why I ordered the options I did and a little less about whether or not I thought the option was worth it. Also, make sure you stay tuned to the end because I'm going to talk about the 2 options I did not order with my boat that most people have been asking me why I did not order those options. So before I get into my build and the options, I do want to let you know I am going to do a giveaway on this video. So the item that I'm going to give away is right here. It is a WakeMan hat, mesh back, and it has the new logo on it, as you can see on my hat up here. So this is going to be my first giveaway with the new WakeMan merch. All you have to do to be entered to win this hat is leave a comment below and say whatever you would like to about this video. Also leave your Instagram username in the comments so that way if you're the winner I can reach out to you. And what I'll do is I'm going to pick the top comment, so the one with the most likes on it. So make sure you get your friends, family, whatever to come over and like that comment after you post it. Whatever you need to do to hype that comment up. So yeah, this hat will go to whoever gets the most liked comment on this video. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into my 2022 Nautique G23 build. Okay, so what you see in front of you right now is my build sheet. I've just zoomed in on it. So this is the build sheet that I put together to order my 2022 Nautique G23. But mind you, I did start this build sheet back in late 2020, and I've changed some things along the way. For example, I started off with black instead of anthracite as my main color, and I also had reef blue going through the interior for the gel coat, and I obviously did not have the telescoping tower on it because it was not an option when I was doing a 2021 boat build. Another thing to consider is the fact that I was building my 2022 boat based on 2021 pricing, and I knew there was going to be a price hike. And I wasn't going to know that until a few months before the build would be delivered, so I had to commit to it around that point. So I was trying to build it with my budget in mind, knowing that it was going to go up a little bit, and it did get hiked a bit more than I was expecting. So I tried to do some of the options to watch out for costs. So that being said, first thing I'll do is I will go through the standard features. So I'll talk about them and I'll make any notes. And I'll bring up any points I think are important as I go through those. So you can see the Nautique Configurable Running Surface, or NCRS, with hydro plate comes standard. Nautique Link Pan Array with helm control comes standard. Then we have 0 off GPS speed control comes standard. Nautique Surf System with wave plate and surf pipe exhaust comes standard. And just FYI, on my Malibus that I did, surf pipe was definitely not standard. Not even the surf gate was standard, and there would be an extra cost for those things. The wake package with integrated ballast 2200 pounds is standard on this boat. Then flight control tower with nautique awareness camera is standard, but I upgraded the tower, so it's a different tower than that, and you'll see that on here. In fact, it's right over here, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. Then we have freshwater engine flush system is standard. That one surprised me. It was an option on Malibu, so you had to upgrade to get that one. It was a very nice option for winterizing it here recently. We have rotating wakeboard wake surf racks is standard, so it's not standard with the Triton racks. And then we have the M6 Series Elite package which comes with 6 speakers and a 10-inch subwoofer and 8-channel amplifier, which I did upgrade that. Then we have power management access with dual AGM batteries, pretty typical. Lighting, docking light array, and LED courtesy lights. So the docking lights are not standard on Malibu. You have to upgrade to get those, just another note. LED courtesy lights, then we have cleats. We have 4 of them, standard, 2 removable, and there wasn't an option to add more cleats, I don't believe. I could be wrong on that one if I don't remember correctly, but I think it just comes standard with as many as you typically get with a Nautique. Whereas Malibu, you could do up to 3 pairs. It says 2 removable coolers, but there was only 1 removable cooler, so I'm not sure what that means. And then we have waste receptacle, and then we have sliding reversible stern seat and flip up lounge seat, and transom seating, GoPro ready rotating tow point, and then my Nautique connectivity platform, which I still haven't figured out how to connect that. Still working on that. I would like to use that. I like some of the features I've read about with the My Nautique app. Wireless charging, and then premium mirror. And just FYI, wireless charging is an upgrade on Malibu, and so is the premium mirror on Malibu. So just a few notes there and differences between Malibu. So now let's jump into colors. So you can see that I did white Chromax, which is the outside piece right here. That's pretty much that and where it says Nautique on the very back of it are really the only 2 pieces. Otherwise, you have to choose a different color. They don't allow you to do that same color Chromax on the inside. So I did black Chromax on the inside, and I don't think that's even, oh yeah, it is listed. So it's right here. No upgrade there. Your Chromax choice doesn't have any impact on cost. I wanted to do white because I ended up doing white for the gel coat on the interior, and I think it came out great. So then we have the whole bottom is reef blue. I've had white whole bottom, I've had black whole bottom, I've had a really light gray whole bottom on other boats I've owned. And the lighter the color, the better it is for not showing imperfections, because even your bunk boards will kind of scuff up the bottom of your boat. So I typically will choose a lighter color for the bottom of the boat, and reef blue was light enough for me. I love the way that a black bottom boat looks, but in the end, you're going to see way more imperfections, and it's harder for the owner. As long as you're 5 to 10 feet away from your boat, black looks really cool. Then we have whole rear. I did reef blue to match, which is this chunk right here. So I like the way that looks. A lot of people are coloring this different, but I like the way it looks as the same color. And obviously no cost there. I think as long as you didn't go metallic there, you had a lot of choices for color without incurring a cost. And then main stripe, you can see is metal, is anthracite metal flake. So that's this piece here. And like I said, I did have that as black, which would have been a cheaper option here. And the reason why I went from black to anthracite metal flake is, for one, I kind of missed, after having my 2019 that was black, that was mostly black, had some reef blue, no metallic. I kind of missed the metallic that I had on the last 2 boats previous to that. So I decided I wanted some metallic somewhere, and I also originally had the reef blue going through the interior for the gel coat as well. The interior gel coat upgrade from white to any color that was available, you can't do metallics in the interior, but any color that was available is like a $4,500 upcharge. And so I looked at the fact that I was doing, I think it was like $800. It was a small charge to do black for this main stripe on the side. And then I looked at the cost of upgrading it to metal flake and then removing the interior blue, and it ended up saving me money. So if you take into consideration, even if the main stripe was free by doing it black, and then so then you've got $4,500 for the reef blue, but $0 for the main stripe. If you take $4,500 away and add $1,600, that's still $3,000 ish of savings there. So I decided to switch those up. I probably would have preferred to have the interior gel coat as reef blue, but in the end, I think it looks great, and it'll actually do a little bit better as far as showing light scuffs and imperfections. In fact, it already has. I can say that for sure. So that's why I went with anthracite metal flake. I wanted some metal flake, and it was going to save me money to do that as long as I took the reef blue out of the interior. So then you can see I did the platform as reef blue. So the platform back here, some platform. It was an upcharge, but I thought it was pretty necessary to go to something other than white. I think it looks good and really matches well there, but just a preference. And then you can see the tower, to make it reef blue, was no upcharge. My last tower had a lot of reef blue in it, and I liked it a lot, so I wanted to do that. This piece right here, I will say that doing the anthracite patch, which is just a side piece on the tower, on this boat, had I known what the real color was going to come out to, I might have just chose to do it all blue, or maybe even do black for this patch, just because in person this patch does look like a lighter gray than this anthracite metallic on the side, so it looks like it's a little bit of a mismatch. I still think it looks really good. It's just that had I known that, I might have changed it up, but no big deal there. Then the interior colors, you can see I did not do any interior colors that cost me any upgrade charge. There were some that if you chose them, they would be an upgrade charge. I purposely made choices that would not cost me any more money. But I like the way it came out. The only thing I'll say there is, I went with Mojave Brown, as you can see, is the main color throughout. But my original choice was going to be mostly reef blue throughout, which was what my 2019 G23 was. After owning a boat that had those interior colors, I liked them, but I like to do something different in each boat. And so with that in mind, and the fact that the dealer said, that the Mojave Brown is actually a better seller than the reef blue interior, I took that into consideration. I do like to try to uphold the resale value of my boat whenever I can as well. So that was the reason for the interior color choices. One other thing I will say, you will notice that I did jet black for the seat boxing, which is the very sides of the seats and cushions. And that's different from any other colors I did on the boat. There's no other black that really matches. And you can actually see some of that right here, the seat boxing. The reason I did that is because I've owned boats for a while, and I noticed over time that if you're going to get any stains that you're not aware of, typically it's going to be inside, in between the seats, and it's much harder to clean away from a lighter color, or at least get it to look like it's not there on a lighter color than it is on a darker color. So that's why I went with black. And it looks really good, even though there's not really many other places where it matches. It does match the color of the racks. It does match the color of some of the other elements like the windshield frame and things like that. So then if we move on, and there's the Team Edition package. I think that's just the most common package to choose, so it's kind of more like the base price. You can see that I went with the ZZ6 engine. I've been very happy with the last few boats with the 450 sized engine. So I had the H6 450 engine on my 2019 G23, and I also had the Raptor 450 engine on my 2018 Malibu. Both of those did really well. So one of the things I will mention is that I am used to having the heavily weighted high altitude prop. I run at 3,600 feet, or just above that, typically And this boat came with a prop that surprised me. It is the 17 by 17 prop, which typically on Malibu on the 24MXZ, that would be what they refer to as a speed prop if you wanted high-end speed as opposed to low-end torque. So that surprised me, but when I took it out with all my weight in it, it did just fine. So I think it's actually going to provide me better fuel efficiency. But I could see myself, if I ever add weight in the future, maybe upgrading the prop, or if I experience some sort of problems getting on a plane at all, then maybe I'd upgrade the prop. There's two more choices. There's a 17 by 15 and a half, which is kind of the middle of the road, and then there's 17 by 14, which is considered high altitude. High altitude or heavily weighted kind of gives you more low-end torque. But I would be happier if I was getting better fuel efficiency because I'm running that 17 by 17 and it's pushing all my weight. So we'll just see how that works out. And Nautique for 2022 anyways didn't have a different options on the prop, whereas Malibu does. You choose from 3 different props typically. Another note on the engine would be the fact that I did have 3 other engine choices to choose from. So there was the diesel engine, which I simply wasn't interested in diesel because I like the ability to fill up my boat and my truck with the same fuel. That way I can use the fuel transfer tank at the back of my truck to fuel both. And it does seem like a neat idea, but it just didn't really appeal to me. And it was more expensive. The next option would be the 7.3 liter gas. I believe it's a 7.3 liter, but it's a 7 something liter. And I simply didn't feel like I needed extra power in my scenario. So, and that is an upgrade charge. And there's also a supercharged 6.2 liter, which I believe they're calling the ZZ8. And I think the 7.3 liter is the ZZ7. Yeah, again, another upcharge, and I didn't feel like I needed that based on my experience with 450 engines. Now we'll go to the top of the right-hand side. So the first thing is the stereo options. So I did do speakers, but let me explain this along with the tower. So you can see that the tower is a $26,000 upgrade, and that seems like a lot. I was really excited to hear that they were offering the telescoping tower on the 2022 when it first came out, and I reached out to my dealer right away to ask about it because I wanted to include it if I could. At $26,000, it sounded like it was going to be too much for me, but here's why it wasn't. For 2022, they came out with 3 new towers, 2 that were replacing basically existing towers already. So the flight control tower without being actuated, and then an actuated flight control tower, and then also the telescoping tower. So there's 3 options. Obviously, the base, the flight control tower without being actuated is no upcharge. But then if you look at, and I don't have the exact figures, but if you look at the actuated tower, so it's basically the power tower, goes up and down with the push of a button, but folds back instead of telescopes up and down. It folds down towards the back, like the 2019 that I had. If you were to outfit that tower with the strapless wakeboard racks, a bimini, and tower speakers, then you would actually get within $5,000 of the upcharge of the flight control tower. And that's what I was going to do. That's the way I had it built. I had the actuated flight control tower with bimini, with speakers, and with strapless racks. So it was only another $5,000 for me to upgrade to the telescoping tower, and for me, it was well worth it. So that's why you see the prices that you see here for stereo options and the flight control tower. You can see that here it says it comes with the strapless board racks, the bimini, and then 2 pair of speakers. So then we move on to the Surf Select with Surf Switch. So although I didn't think that worked very well on the 2019 compared to how Malibu's worked, I did want that ability, and it looks like the remote is a little nicer, but very similar. It just does one function. But I do think I might go ahead and get a Garmin watch at some point so that I can do all the functions. I'm not sure about that, but I did want the functionality there. Do I think it's worth it? It really just depends on whether or not you care to work on tricks where you go across the wave. And I was doing that a lot on my Malibu, and I want to continue to do some of that stuff. So it was worth it to me at $942. Okay, then we have lights underwater, so the transom lights. I went ahead and put that on there. Honestly, they don't mean that much to me personally because I don't do a whole lot of night stuff. I have done some night stuff, but it's really kind of sketchy to do night stuff other than just like hanging out and swimming. And they're nice for that. But in the end, I've found that there's a lot of people that do care about them. So for me, it was more of a resale value option to take advantage of. So that's why those are on there. So then we see the actuated helm seat. This is one of those options that I'm pretty sure I didn't actually put in my original build, so it kind of surprised me when I saw it come through. And that's why you see the date on the top of this as last updated 10/10, because I updated it for those options that surprised me, and this is one of them. So this is one that I felt that I actually needed, but somehow I ended up with an actuated helm seat. And that's where it just you just push a button to move the seat forward and back, as opposed to like pulling up a lever and then sliding it back and forth. So that's what I feel about that one. I didn't feel like it was necessary, but it was just an extra one that I ended up with. Then we have the bow armrests. This one is a toss-up for me. I'm not really certain that those are necessary, but they are super nice to have a bow armrest there if you have people sitting up in the front. So I think that depends on your preference. The bow filler cushion, that one I decided later on that I feel like a lot of people are taking that option and liking that option. I do like the fact that it gives my wife extra room to step onto the boat because I always load her from the bow off of the dock. So yeah, it was worth it to me, and I think it's really worth it for resale in this case. Another note there would be one of the options I did not take advantage of was the filler cushion for the transom. That one's definitely not worth it to me. I know I'll never use it, and I know typically people don't care about that one as far as resale value goes. Heated drivers and love seat. So that one was important for me and my wife because we do a lot of cold weather riding, early season, late season, and that seat heater is very nice during those times. So very, very important to me. And then we have this walk-through air dam. I did the pocket door. You can see that one's pretty expensive, but it is super nice. I mean, compared to the Malibu ones, where it's just this kind of plexiglass you pull in or put in and take out and put somewhere. I always thought that was kind of a pain in the butt on Malibu. Depending on the model, they do have one a pocket door one as well, and I think theirs, at least at some points in time, has been a power one. But the power ones have had lots of failures. For what I've seen, so I actually like this one. This is just a simple. It's in a pocket door, slides in and slides out. It's super classy. I like it a lot. So that one was well worth it for me. And honestly, I think it's really good for resale too. I could see that not being a big deal if you live in a place where you got a lot of hot weather throughout the year, and you just don't care about it. Then we have the battery maintenance system. So this was another one that was a surprise to me. I did not know. I'm pretty sure I didn't order that one because I have a separate battery charger I usually throw in there, and it wasn't a big deal to me. I will say it is super nice to just be able to plug in. It's right there. But yeah, just kind of a bonus option for me because I'm pretty sure I didn't order that, and then the boat came and it had it in it. It wouldn't typically be worth it for me to order that. Then we have a heater with defroster. So I'll say the same thing as I did on the seat heaters. The heaters are important for us because we do a lot of cold weather riding, so it's nice for my wife to be able to warm herself up, or my daughter, while we are in cold weather and I'm riding behind the boat. So that's well worth it for me. And then the last thing you see there is the platform cover. So I did think it was important to have a cover for the platform. I like to use it as a dust cover, and also I think about the next person that buys a boat. If they don't have indoor storage, they would have a cover for the platform. So now to talk about the two options that ever since I've debuted my 2022 G23 on my channel, I've been getting the most questions about. Why did you not put this option on your boat? So the first one is in 2022, Nautique came out with the Pro Ballast upgrade. And what that is it adds 2 more bags on the starboard and port side, underneath of your kind of mid lockers or seats. So and below deck, there's like an empty space there that was kind of like an Easter egg that they now are offering, where they can set up 2 more pumps, and then hook it into the system, and then there's just 2 more ballast tanks that you can adjust for more weight, and to help with your wave more, or wake, or what have you. And they add up to like 1,500 pounds. It might be 1,450. I can't remember exactly. So why did I not do that? So for the most part, it's because of money. I wasn't sure what my cost was going to be. I ordered based on 2021 numbers. My dealer told me for sure there's going to be a price increase. We didn't know what it was yet. So when all of a sudden the 2022 price came in, it was about the same time as the Pro Ballast Option choice came available to me. And I upgraded the tower, so that was another $5,000. It was probably an extra, I can't remember exactly, but it was somewhere between like $10,000 and $15,000 above what a 2021 was. So that right there was already kind of blowing my budget. And I felt it was very important to get the telescoping tower. That is an option that you cannot go back and install later if you decide you want it later, whereas the Pro Ballast Option is. And the Pro Ballast Option, the dealer quoted me, if they were to do it later on, it would be basically the same price if I had ordered it. So to me, I decided to go ahead and leave that out for now. I have plenty of steel shot right now. I have 1,000 pounds of steel shot, and I could add more if I wanted to kind of replace that weight, that extra weight that would have added. Would I like there to be ballast bags there? Yeah, I think it would be cool. It was just a stretch at this point in time, and one of those things that I could easily add later if I needed to. So that's the only reason why I didn't put it on there for the order or the build. So the next option that I did not put on, that I'm getting the most questions about, is the stern thruster or the stern turn option. A lot of people are saying, why didn't you do that? It's such a great option, it really helps you turn your boat, what have you. Well, simply put, I do not think it's worth the money for me at this current time. It's like a $10,000 to $11,000 upgrade to have that stern thruster. And I've spent over 1,000 hours, probably somewhere around 1,500 hours, driving an inboard boat at low speeds, and I feel quite confident driving a boat at low speeds. Would it be nice to have that extra maneuverability capability? Sure, but at $10,000 to $11,000, it's simply not worth it for me. I know how to handle the boat at low speeds, so it just was not worth it. That is also an option that can be added later. There's also aftermarket options that are actually much cheaper than that, like $3,500. If you feel comfortable enough installing it yourself, you can do it for around $3,500. So it was one of those things that was not important for me, and also not really important for resale value, because kind of like the Pro Ballast option, if somebody wanted that on this boat when I go to sell it, they could simply add it to it. And the price will reflect it not having those. So that is the reason why I decided not to do those options. The last thing that I'll cover is the trailer. So you'll notice that there's no trailer listed on this build sheet, and that's because Nautique does not build trailers, and they don't have a trailer shipped with the boat. So what happens at your dealer is they order a trailer from Boatmate. And I think in the past they've also done it from Extreme Trailers, and I'm not sure if you have the choice between the two, but I ordered mine from Boatmate. Then Boatmate just tries to make sure they time when your Nautique gets delivered so that to have the trailer there at the same time. So for my trailer, let's talk about a few options there. I went with a triple axle because of the weight. I knew I'd be carrying around 1,000 pounds of steel shot. So that's why I did that. And then I did not go with the 18-inch rims. I just have the 15-inch rims because I think 18-inch rims look great. I just don't think they're necessary, and I think they look pretty good if they're 15-inch rims as well as far as the trailer goes. And it's generally cheaper to replace a tire on a 15-inch rim than an 18-inch rim. When you have a triple axle trailer, generally you go through tires. Well, at least I go through tires at least every couple seasons. After 2 seasons, I've got at least 3 different tires that are pretty worn. I did put the bow ladder on the trailer. I also did the Elite shielding or the Rhino lining on the trailer. I thought those things were important. I also put the transom step on the trailer to help get on the back of the boat. And I did not do any extra lighting. Sometimes you can do runway lighting. You can do some like extra lighting on the outside to make it look fancy. I did not do those things. So that's basically it on the trailer. I think the trailer turned out really nice. So I'm pretty happy with that. So that pretty much takes care of my 2022 Nautique G23 build. Very happy with it. It turned out pretty amazing. I can't wait to use this boat some more, and maybe I'll even do a follow-up review, maybe a season or 2 down the road, where I talk about whether or not I found out certain options were really worth it or were not worth it. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any thoughts on this video or ideas for future videos, please leave them in the comments below. And also don't forget about the hat giveaway. Make sure you comment and include your Instagram username if you want to be entered to win the WakeMANN hat. And I will draw a winner for that 2 weeks from the published date of this video. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you can be notified of my future videos. I'll see you next week.